Britain's royal family is recognised throughout the world. Its matriarch, Queen Elizabeth II, is incredibly popular. She has reigned longer than any other living monarch, having ruled for 65 years. In that time, she's outlasted 13 prime ministers and 12 US presidents. She's travelled over 1 million miles on official visits to 106 countries. At the age of 91, she still conducts 330 official engagements a year. Her longevity and vitality amazed those who met her even 40 years ago. In 1973, cultural philosopher Hubert Humdinger published an article describing how she was packed with more energy than the sun. He explained that she maintains her remarkable vibrancy through a dark habit. There is an immense amount of spiritual energy in human muscle, he said. She must eat human flesh to be so vivacious. But is Queen Elizabeth II a cannibal? Humdinger is not alone in his claims. Financial analyst Jim Willey believes the Queen is a child-killing Satanist.
We go to the new town of Hemel Hempstead, where the Queen received a bouquet from two of its youngest citizens.
His claims chime with several separate reports about dozens of school children going missing in Canada, each time the Queen makes a state visit. In Britain, William Coombs claims to have witnessed the Queen kidnap 10 children from his residential Catholic school in 1964. Another report comes from an anonymous soldier on duty in the Queen's home, Windsor Castle, in the 1970s. He says he found a secret freezer hidden in the castle kitchens. When he opened it, he was confronted with the sickening sight of human body parts, arms, legs, and other various pieces. Conspiracy theorists say this is proof positive that Queen Elizabeth II, her husband Prince Philip, and perhaps the entire royal family consume people in order to prolong their own existence beyond the natural limits of the human body. Archaeological evidence suggests humans have practiced cannibalism for tens of thousands of years. 600,000-year-old human bones have been found that had the flesh removed by other humans. Historians speculate that ritual cannibalism, where the remains of the dead are eaten by their relatives, was commonly carried out in early human society, before the traditions of burial and cremation developed. Cannibalism has also occurred in times of great strife. In 1609, the Jamestown colony in America was so badly struck by famine that the settlers ate each other to survive. During World War II, the people of Leningrad turned to cannibalism when they were besieged by the Nazis for 872 days. In 1972, survivors of a plane crash in the Andes ate the dead passengers, staying alive long enough to be rescued after 72 days. Meanwhile, history is full of individuals with a predilection for human flesh. Serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer ate the body parts of 17 men over the course of 13 years. Not for nothing is folklore and myth full of villains and monsters who eat their victims. More disturbingly, though, cannibalism was widespread in early modern Europe. Lecturer Louise Noble, historian Dr. Richard Sugg, and anthropologist Beth Conklin have all researched how Europeans in both the Old and New Worlds ate human remains for medicinal purposes. Known as corpse medicine, it was popular amongst British royalty, Queen Elizabeth's predecessors. William III and Queen Mary both took potions containing human skull. Charles II liked it so much he bought the recipe and mixed his own. These remedies were made using grinded Egyptian mummies, body parts supplied by an illegal grave-robbing industry, and blood freshly drank from executed criminals. Even Charles I's blood was mopped up by the crowd when he was beheaded, because his royal spirit was considered to have potent healing powers. The last recorded examples of corpse medicine are from the mid-1800s. It is not known whether any of Queen Elizabeth's grandparents partook of human flesh. Conspiracy theorists say Elizabeth II literally gets away with murder and cannibalism because she is the Queen. Authorities simply won't touch her, and the establishment goes to great lengths to cover up her evil tastes. The cover-up must be particularly successful because there is no evidence whatsoever to back up these claims. The report of the anonymous soldier who found the freezer full of body parts seems to have been invented by an equally anonymous visitor to an online forum. Furthermore, Hubert Humdinger, the main source of the theory, may have never existed. None of his 367 purported writings survive, and there is no record of his life, let alone his 1973 article in which he accused the Queen of being a flesh-eater. In fact, Humdinger seems to be the creation of a satire writer called Adam Michael Lubke. Reports of Canadian and British schoolchildren being kidnapped by the Queen have no historical proof either, only unsupported witness statements. Their stories also strain logic. It must be wondered whether Britain's constitutional monarchy, which has robbed the head of state of most of their power and surrounds the Queen with security and paparazzi, would allow her to go on unsupervised night raids in boarding schools. But if she were a cannibal, she would not face consequences under the law. In the United Kingdom, it is not a crime to eat another person. In criminal cases where cannibalism has taken place, the charge is always murder. The Queen would have to be caught for killing or kidnapping in order to be arrested, but even then, she benefits from sovereign immunity. She cannot be prosecuted for a crime. On the official royal family website it says, although civil and criminal proceedings cannot be taken against the sovereign as a person under UK law, the Queen is careful to ensure that all her activities in her personal capacity are carried out in strict accordance with the law. Regardless of these dark rumours, the Queen remains hugely popular. A British poll named her as the UK's greatest ever monarch. 3/4 of the British public want the monarchy to continue, as do over half of Canadians. Her approval rating in the USA is 82%. In part, this is because she has never given an interview, and therefore never given any hint about her political or personal views, or about her personal tastes. Elizabeth is such a guarded figure, her exposure to the public so tightly controlled and her private life such a closely protected secret, we may never know what truly goes on behind palace walls.